Welcome to the Heartification Podcast, where I interview people on how art has affected their lives and what it means to them. Art has a very special place in my life. It not only makes me feel happy, but it allows me to make others feel special. This podcast is all about how art has made an impact on others' lives, for all ages, all backgrounds, and all walks of life. You can find more about this podcast guest in my show notes. Without further ado, let's welcome my next guest. He is an automotive industry expert. Please welcome my next guest, Glenn Lundy.
Hey, well, hello. You're straight to the point. I love it.
Yes, thank you so much for being on my show.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so the first question I always ask is, how do you define art?
How do I define art? I think that art would be defined as anything created by a human, preferably. I guess they have art by robots now too, but anything, it's an expression of, wow, that's a good question. An expression of a human being's mind's eye, right? We have these, the way that we perceive the world, for everyone, it's different. And so I believe that art is that individual artist's way of being able to capture the beauty that exists in the world and take it out of their mind's eye and bring it to a space where we can all enjoy it together. That's how I would describe art.
Yeah, definitely. I totally agree with you. Like, my definition is any way you're able to express yourself, which is, expressing how you see the world and what you're feeling.
Yeah, it's important, right? It's really, it's attached to the individual. It's really a human expression in an artistic form. I love it. I love art.
Yeah, me too. And what art forms are you exposed to?
Not like a ton, I'm not really into the art world so much. I'm definitely not an expert in the world. So as far as different art forms, I think that there's a lot of cartoons. That I have 8 kids, so there's a lot of cartoons that are very artistic in their creation, and so I always admire what they're able to do when it comes to those types of things. And then, of course, I really like landscapes. I'm a huge fan of, not only can you take me somewhere with your picture and with your art, but actually take me somewhere into a fantastic land, maybe that I've never experienced before, or even capturing some lands that I have experienced before. So I really like seeing nature, destinations and different places in art form. I think it's beautiful.
Yeah, definitely. I totally agree with you. Like, I paint landscapes, mostly. You can see some of my paintings behind me.
Nice.
Yeah, thank you. But yeah, I really love, painting landscapes and the nature and different textures and the tree bark or in a leaf. I find it really amazing.
Yeah, I think there's so many little intrinsic things that Mother Nature ties into her creations. There's just so many little intrinsic things that are just absolutely fascinating to me.
Yeah, me too. And do you believe that there is an art in selling?
Oh yeah, no doubt. There's definitely an art when it comes to selling. Sales, you can take the exact same words, the exact same script, the exact same strategies, systems, and processes, and have 2 different people deliver them in 2 different, with their own personalities attached, and you'll get different results every single time. So there definitely is a human connection to selling, and the way that we sell, the way that we present, the way that we deliver, all of those things, the intangibles and the unteachables. That's where the real art of selling comes from. And so, yeah, I definitely, based on the definition of art as being something from the inside brought out to the outside for everyone else to experience, sales is definitely one of those things.
Yeah, awesome. And how do you think creativity plays a role in what you do?
Yeah, it's everything. So, especially here in 2021, by now with technology, people are exposed to so many different offers or so many different challenges, so many different, you should do things this way, you should do things that way, so on and so forth, that I think people start to get a little bit numb to all of that. It's gotten harder. So even though, now with technology, we have more connection, right? Before, I remember when I was younger, and this will age me, but I had to use things like fax machines and make phone calls to actually talk to people. It was crazy. And that was the only way I was able to create opportunities in the sales world. And now with the internet and social media and all these things, we're connected like never before, but people are bombarded to the point where they're like, leave me alone. I don't want to talk to anybody. I don't want to try any new. I don't trust you. I don't know you. Those types of things. So you definitely have to get super creative and be able to approach customers or potential clients with a story that emotionally affects them and creates an experience that is unlike anything they've ever experienced anywhere before. And so that takes a massive level of creativity to be able to say, no, I'm not going to take the path of least resistance. I'm actually going to carve a new path and a new way that is able to engage and add value to this potential client, customer, consumer, in a way that's going to be impactful for them.
Oh, yeah, I totally agree with you. And how do you use your creativity to get clients?
Yeah, every day. I like to really tell stories through video. So I like to use video as an art form, and also audio. I do a daily morning show that we stream audio on podcast and some other areas as well. And so, but for me, video is a powerful way to tell incredible stories, right? We can capture all of the senses, the vision, and of course the tactical, the feel, like all of these things. We can capture those things in video. And so we make entertaining videos. Some people would call it what, how do they say it? I just lost the word. But anyways, it's a mixture of education and entertainment, right? I like to educate people on potential solutions that I might be able to offer, but at the same time, edutain. That's what they say, edutain. I like to edutain people. And so, it's one thing if I go to the chalkboard and I say 2 + 2 is 4. You're like, okay, I'm bored out of my wits. Thanks a lot for that. But if I say, well, there was this one time where me and my wife, and we traveled to Las Vegas, Nevada, and we met up with Josh Cummins and his wife, and my two and his two, the 4 of us together went out and we went to this incredible party, and Snoop Dogg was there, and it was an amazing experience and all of that, right? If I tell the story, then you're like, oh, well, 2 + 2 is 4, but it's much more fun way to grasp these types of things. So that's how I like to use, art in sales, is really use the power of video to create an emotional story that has a lesson buried deep within it. And I think, Disney and a lot of the big players, they do this. They engage you with the story so that they can teach you the underlying mission or underlying message.
Yeah, definitely. That's awesome. And how do you use your creativity to motivate people, especially on your daily live broadcasts?
Yeah, so that part's so fun, It's every single day I wake up at 3:20 in the morning, and
Wow.
I get up and I put my headphones on. I listen to some instrumental music. I don't touch my phone first thing in the morning. And then I write, and I write my gratitude, all the things I'm thankful for. And then I write my goals, right? All of my dreams and aspirations. I write all of those things. And then I pull out this pad. It's in my backpack, I guess. I pull out my pad for my show and I write the words "good morning," right? I just write that every day. Good morning. Then I put a comma, and then I allow my creativity to put together a 30-minute show that I then deliver live 30 minutes after I'm done writing it. So I'll write the show and I have to be creative and I have to weave in, my thoughts and take them from inside perspective to be able to display it on the outside. And what's that going to look like on the different camera angles and the B-roll and the video shots and so on and so forth. I have to put all that together in a creative way. And I have 30 minutes before I have to go deliver it live for tens of thousands of people around the world. So
Wow.
it's super, super fun. Yeah, it's super fun.
That's amazing. I don't think I could ever do that.
Oh, of course you can. Of course, man. You're already super, super smart. You ask great questions. You're already in the podcast world. Every time you do something, your brain is carving a path. So your brain has these neural pathways, okay? You got these neural pathways in your brain. And the best way to understand those neural pathways is imagine like you were in a jungle. And as you're traveling through the jungle, you're having to step on all this tall grass, right? You're stepping on the tall grass to try to make a path. And then you get to your destination, wherever it is, you do some bird seeing or you check out some lions and cheetahs, whatever it is, and you go back down that path again, right? Well, the grass is standing back up. You only walked on it once. And so the grass is back up. And so you walk through and you step down on the grass, you go back to your car. Over time, if you keep making that same path back and forth over and over and over again, well, then the grass will start to shorten, it will start to wear down, and ultimately it'll stop growing. And you just have this clean path. So as you come back, now you can just go down a trail. So we've all seen this out in the woods. You see little trails or, so on and so forth in the parks, little areas that people consistently walk. Things just stop growing. And so that's what happens in your neural pathways of the brain. Each time you do something, each time you do a podcast, each time you press record on your video, each time you do a live or ask questions, each time you do those things, it's like walking through the grass in your brain. And though if you don't do it frequently enough, the grass will grow back. But if you do it frequently enough, ultimately you'll cement it to where now it becomes like subconscious. It's not conscious. It's second nature. Just like walking or talking or breathing or any of these fascinating things. And so it's the same way with my show. I've done 826 episodes now. So now it's really just kind of it's a subconscious thing. We follow the routine, we show up, we do what we do, and we're able to be creative. And then we come in here and, here in the studio, we have 3 different camera angles that we switch between while we're doing the show, which is kind of cool. We got the little close-up shot and then the backup shot and then, this one here and multiple different sounds and music and lights and stuff. But each thing was just layered on one neural pathway at a time. So you can definitely do it because you're way ahead of where I was at your age.
Yeah, thank you. I liked how, how we were talking before, you used a story instead of, just saying, back and forth. You use a story of, walking on the grass. And I think things like those can help people understand better what you're talking about.
Yeah, totally. 100%, man. Stories are the key. The better you can paint the picture, right? Art, it's magic. So the better you can paint the picture to help other people see, it makes it so much easier to communicate on all ages, at all levels, whether you're talking to a 5-year-old or you're talking to a 55-year-old, if you can, and everywhere in between and everywhere above, if you can tell a story, our brains just respond much better to stories than they do just, you have neural pathways in your brain that, that stuff's sometimes hard to understand. But in a story, it's definitely more impactful.
Yeah, I totally agree.
So thank you for noticing that and complimenting that. I appreciate you.
Yeah, no problem. And art can be therapeutic and it can help people through some difficult situations. So has art ever helped you through a difficult situation?
I think with the art, really expanding on our definition of art, I think writing is an art as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, right. And so writing for me helps me through. Oh, I'm so sorry. Writing.
It's okay.
Yeah, sorry about that. Let me make sure the sound is off. writing for me is, it's gotten me through so many things. I believe that it's important to write down the things that you're thankful for every day, right? So writing my gratitudes is really powerful. And then writing my goals helps tell my brain a story. And then my brain figures out all the little nuances of that story so that I can make the goals come true. And so, at the beginning of, COVID back last year, it was kind of a scary thing for everybody. And I didn't really understand what was going on. And I have 8 kids. And so I was trying to figure out how I was going to take care of the kids and what this meant for them. And it was really a little bit of a scary place. And I was able to use writing to ground myself and pull myself back and say, hey, whoa. This is your story. You get to write it however you want. You can be scared or you can be brave. You can let it cause you to want to crawl into the fetal position in the closet, or you can say, I'm going to lean in on my business and I'm really going to go out there and make an impact, right? Like, we get to write the story. And so that is one example where I used writing to pull myself together to put, as they say, put your pants on one leg at a time and get back in the fight. And that's exactly what I was able to do through writing. So yeah, writing for me is very therapeutic.
Yeah, that's awesome. And are you attracted to any particular artist?
Oh my gosh. In the writing world, there's so many. I really love books. There's a guy named Neil Donald Walsh who wrote a good book. I like his stuff. And Napoleon Hill. He's written, many books that I like. And as far as maybe some art outside of that, I'm a big fan of the classics. I think they're just incredible. Just all the classic stuff. I love the Leonardos and the Michelangelos and all of the old, Renaissance type stuff. I really like that stuff when it comes to the paintings themselves.
Yeah, that's awesome. And are you attracted to any particular art form?
Just video. I'm really, really, really attracted to video. I think it's fascinating what we can do nowadays with technology and video, and how we can really bring people together in a unique and intrinsic way, even though we might be apart. Golly, especially last year, where would we be as a civilization if we didn't have video during this past season, where we could do Zooms and we could see people face to face and we could still connect? So yeah, video to me is the future and also incredibly fascinating.
Yeah, definitely. And, back to your point with technology and Zoom, we're going through this pandemic where we all had to, stay at home, and without technology. And I think people, they need to connect with other people. We need that social interaction, but now we had to, stay home and, stay away from other people as much as possible. So I think technology, in a way, everyone's always technology is bad. It ruins your eyes. Kids are addicted to it. But in some ways, it's also good. You can connect with people, and especially during this pandemic, you're able to connect with people in a safe way. So I think it's great that, we have technology.
Yeah, no way. No, I don't think there's any way we could have made it through this without it.
Yeah, definitely not.
Yeah, it's been a game changer. So I agree with you.
Yeah, definitely. And my heartification project is all about giving back to the community, specifically to those with disabilities and illnesses. So how do you give back to the community?
There's lots of things that we try to do. We have something called #RiseAndGrindOffline, which is where my community members, people that watch my show every day and are part of my Rise and Grind group, will come together and we'll do just different random acts. We've done things from everything from grabbing homeless people off the street and helping them find jobs and housing, to helping some of our members who are battling with cancer or loss of a loved ones. We did something really cool, Sunil. You'd like this. We did something called a Facebook Live-a-thon. And we took 52 people from around the world, and they all agreed to go live on Facebook for 30 minutes at a very specific time. and we created a 24-hour continual chain of people going live on Facebook every 30 minutes. And we were talking about and raising awareness for the battle against human trafficking that is going on in the world. And so there's a small organization called Rescue One Global in Nashville, Tennessee, and that's what they do is they save young men and young women from this horrible industry of human trafficking. And so we got together and we went 24 hours, and some people sang and some people danced and other people just told stories, and it was incredible. And in 24 hours, we raised over $110,000
Wow.
for this organization. And then the government matched it with another $300,000 on top as part of a grant. So we were able to raise over $400,000 for this organization by just sharing our thoughts, our feelings, and our creativity in a way that had never been done before. So we try to do things like that all the time. I'm all about bringing people together, uniting people. I believe that many hands make light work. So anytime we want to make an impact on the community, we just rally. I say, hey, come on, guys, here's where we're going. I hope you'll come with me. We can't do it without you. We need all you. And let's go. And we go out there and serve whatever need, gets presented in front of us. If it makes sense and aligns with our core values, then we go after it.
Yeah, that's amazing. And, I think of it how, a drop of water, it lands in the water and there's ripples and it keeps getting bigger and bigger. It's like how one person does one live and each person does one live, but together they've made such a big impact and raised so much money for a good cause. It's amazing.
Pretty cool, right? Pretty cool. Yeah. I was one of those core memories that I'll remember forever. That day was a pretty fascinating day.
Yeah, it's awesome. And how would you like people to get in touch with you?
Yeah. So the best way to get in touch with me is if you go to glennlundy.com, that'll connect you to all my different social media feeds, all that stuff. That's the best way. Just go to glennlundy.com.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for doing this.
Yeah. Thank you. You're amazing.
Thank you for listening to this podcast. Remember, if you want to find out more about this guest, please go to my show notes where I have all the links needed. If you enjoyed this podcast, please subscribe to my podcast series and help me by sharing it, leaving a rating, and a comment. I hope you join me on my next podcast. Bye for now.